Hello everyone, thanks for stopping by. My name is Shields. This is episode 0 of OSR Tactics, my new show where I'll be filming some OSR battles on the tabletop. Today's scenario, we have a skirmish between my player characters and a squadron of orcs. So these are my characters right here. The party leader is a ranger known as Tarn Wolfblood. He will be represented by the figure in green right there. His companions are Sir Dalamir and Genevieve, who are represented by the knight and the wizard. Give a look at the opposing forces for today's battle. We have a squadron of orcs from Dark Alliance. As you can see, we've got their leader right here, who's wearing heavy armor and has a shield, followed by 2 standard orcs, and then we have an orc with a bow. Now, this is the narrative for today's battle. This is a continuation of a Mordor campaign that I've been running for myself solo for a while. The quest giver for today is named Frederick the Impressive. He's a Blackgate Ranger and a good friend to our hero Tarn Wolfblood. He has given him the task to travel into the Loud Forest to recover a wand that is carried by a killed squadron of rangers. That's pretty bad English, but what I was trying to convey was these rangers were sent on a mission to recover this wand. They ended up recovering the wand, however, they suffered a total party kill while carrying that wand. And they're going to be represented by these wound markers. These are the corpses of the rangers. The way today's scenario is going to work is once the player characters approach one of the wound markers, they can roll a die, and on a 5 or 6, they recover the wand. And therefore they could flee the battle if they like, or they could finish off the orcs, kill the orcs force, and then loot the bodies. But there's 3 wound markers, and the orcs are also searching for the wand. So if they find the wand and they all run off the board, then they have successfully won the scenario, and therefore my ranger is going to have to spend some time tracking them down. So nevertheless, let's get into the battle and see how things turn out. Sit back and enjoy. One more things I want to point out on the character sheet here is I'm going to give everyone their maximum health back. That's because they got into a bit of a trouble in the city of Osgiliath the last session, and they lost a couple hit points. I'm going to restore their hit points fully because they would have rested before this. And there's some items on here I kind of need to explain. So the Amulet of Protection is just a +1 AC bonus when it's worn, and the Staff of Life is what allows the Genevieve to use her cleric spells. Since this is a Middle-earth campaign, clerics aren't really a thing like the way how they are in White Box, so I kind of had to somehow make that lore accurate. So the Staff of Life allows her to use her magic as a cleric and everything. Without further ado, I believe that's everything. Alright, so let's get this battle started. First thing we're going to roll for is surprise for the party and the orcs. Now, Tarn is a ranger, so he can only be surprised on a 1. So he is not surprised. And then we have to roll for surprise for the orcs, and they are indeed surprised, which means that my party can move first, and then we will roll for initiative. So the scale we're using for this battle mat here is every square equals 10 feet, and all my characters can move up to 40 feet per turn. So going ahead and moving things, I'm going to move my cleric to take cover behind the tree. I'm going to move my ranger to take control of the choke point here. And then I'm going to have my hireling here take this sort of flank right here. Now, Tarn is near a body, so I'm going to have him search that body. Search this body right here. And as I said, on a 5 or a 6, he will find the wand he's looking for. So that's a 4. So I'm going to take that wound marker away since that body's already been searched. And that is the first round of gameplay. Dicing off for initiative here. The orcs are going to take this red dice. And it looks like the party gets to go first. So moving over here, I'm going to have Dalamir, 1, 2, 3, 4, take that kind of ground right there so we can form some kind of wedge formation. He has some degree of cover from the rock in case the archer decides to shoot at him. I'm gonna have Tarn loot that body. So on a 5 or a 6, so he has recovered successfully the wand. And then I will have my cleric hang out in the back in case someone needs health, and I'll end their turn there. So sort of the way I like to do things, and I think this is also in white boxes, I like to move in phases, so I'll always try to move my characters first, then range attack, then melee, and then before any of that, I usually have spellcasters declare their spells, and the spells will go off in the beginning of the next round. So with that sort of principle set, it's now the orc's turn. So I'm gonna have the orc leader, 1, 2, 3. So that's a charge since that's directly in a straight line, which means he gets a +4 to hit Tarn. So we'll roll that in the right phase. And then I'm going to 1, 2, 3, 4. Have them start to move to double up on Tarn over there. I'm gonna have him set him up like that too. And then 1, 2, 3, 4. Like so. So Tarn looks like he's in a lot of trouble right now. So the archer is going to shoot his ranged attack. Hits on a 13. So a 17 will definitely hit, at which case Tarn is going to take D6 damage. 5 points of damage right there. So reviewing the footage, I wasn't entirely sure if this was like a direct straight line. I think it's not. I'm still going to count it as a charge just because it's close enough. I'm not really too crazy about that, and I don't really mind it. So yeah, +4 to hit. So that definitely hits. So he's gonna take what is it, D6 +2 because he's charging 3 points of damage. Not bad, but my guy is getting beaten up. That looks like that's the end of the second round. So we're dicing off for initiative. My players get to go first. So going back on the board, I'm definitely gonna retreat. So 1, 2, 3, 4, disengage action. 1, 2, 3, 4. Moves. He moves back here. I like to do the facing just to know. So he's running back there. At which point I'm gonna have him cover him. So 1, 2. So he moves there to cover the retreat of Tarn, kind of push him back a bit. This is not a good spot for my hireling, but 13 hit points, so I don't think things could go too bad by doing this. But the cleric can now begin to start casting Cure Light Wounds, and she will do that at the beginning of the next round. Now it's time for the orcs. So I'm gonna have him 1, 2. So got 2 melee attacks going on right there. Have him move on his leaves. So this guy is just completely encircled. And we've got the arrow attack, which will happen first above everything else. So, that does not hit, because you can hit Dalamir on a 17 because he's wearing the amulet of protection, chain and shield. So, we've got 3 attacks. We'll start with the orc kind of holding his head right there. He gets a +2 to hit since there's 2 other enemies engaging him. Does not hit. And then we'll do our little squad leader right there. He also gets a +3 because he gets a +1 since he's the captain. Alright, so no. And then +2 to hit for our last orc. No. So he manages to repel all of that attack. Arrow, he catches it with his shield. He's out here parrying and dodging. These orcs can't touch him this round. So now we're dicing off for the next round of combat. It's going to be simultaneous. So before anything happens, Cure Light Wounds is casted by Genevieve, at which point Tarn recovers D6 + 1 hit points. 2 hit points. Well, it's better than nothing. So this is what I'm gonna do. 1, 2, 3, 4. He's running along the bridge. 1, 2, 3, 4. She's running along the bridge. Dalamir will disengage. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we are out of here, at which point the orcs, 1, 2, 3, 4, lines up Tarn like that. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Trying to cut him off. 1, 2, 3, 4. So now we've got a chase scene going on here. And that archer right there has Tarn lined up, so we're going to roll for that. Misses. And then we've got an attack towards the back on Dalamir by the captain right there. So I'm going to give him a +2 to hit. Because he already has +1 because he's the captain. I'm going to give him another +1 because he's hitting in the back. Missed. So no damage. So that is going to be that round. My goal is if I can grab initiative, I just plan to run off the board with all my guys and flee this whole scene, since there's no real point to fight the orcs since we've got what we're looking for. But the orcs are going to try to stop us from doing that with all they can. But I feel confident about this because we were able to use the bridge to our advantage. They only have one way to go, and that's directly behind us. We just have to watch out for this archer. I don't think he will be able to take out any of my characters just because we all have more than 10 hit points. But never know what happens. And currently Dalamir is engaged with the orc, so it should look something more like this. He's gonna have to disengage again if he wants to move. And that all depends on whether or not we get initiative. So let's figure that out. Dicing off for initiative, and we've got it. So we're going to 1, 2, 3, 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Tarn has left the battle. 1, 2, 3, 4. Genevieve is standing at the edge. Dalamir, disengage. 1, 2, 3, 4. Running along the bridge. Okay. So for the orcs, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, I need to explain something of a house rule that I like to do. So I am currently right now. Okay, never mind. So the archer will be able to shoot first without any penalty because the melee attack that would make him engaged with Dalamir has not happened yet. But if he attacked first and then he shot, my house rule is that if he misses the shot, he actually hits his friend, which he's an orc, and he wouldn't even mind doing that anyways because orcs are evil in Middle-earth. So we'll start with the range attack. So as he's running along the bridge, the orc shoots the arrow, misses. Okay. So now the captain will attack Dalamir in the back, getting a +2 to hit. That hits. So he takes d6 +1 damage, 2 damage. Not too bad. And that will conclude things for this round. All right. Potentially the final round here. The orcs gain initiative. So we'll start with that range attack with that penalty I was talking about earlier. So that's a miss, at which point the orc thief, who has 6 hit points, is actually killed by his friend's arrow. He's shot in the neck, he falls off the bridge, and falls into the river right there, ending their turn, at which point my character runs off the board. 1, 2, 3, 4. Runs off the board. And there you have it, folks. The end of our scenario. Alrighty, just kind of going through our cast list here. Just to kind of recap things. So my party was successfully able to recover the wand from the lost patrol of rangers. And they successfully fled the board, which means they fled from combat and they are able to return to the Black Gate with the item that they recovered. The only casualty of this battle was the orc captain, who is a victim of friendly fire from our archer right there. So, kind of running through the miniatures right here in case you're interested. Tarn and Genevieve are models from Splintered Light. Dalamir is a model from Alternative Armies. And then these 4 orcs are provided by Dark Alliance Miniatures. And with that being said, the rule set used today was White Box, fantastic medieval adventure game, my favorite OSR game, highly recommend it, and great for tactical gameplay with fast and easy rules and flexibility for house ruling. So that's going to be it for episode 0 of OSR Tactics. If you liked what you saw, let me know your suggestions down in the comments, how I can improve the show, what you guys would like to see. Thanks for stopping by. Happy gaming, everybody, and see you around.